Hello everybody, welcome back to Sam and Ham. This is Ham, and today we're going to be doing two rapid reviews at the same time. The reason they're being paired together is because they're made by the same creator at the same post on Reddit. These were made by Gnomezilla, posted to the D&D Homebrew subreddit. Link to the thread in the description. Without further ado, ready and go. This is the College of the Dirge for bards. Level 1, they get Morbid Secrets. Basically, whenever they can pick a new spell or a cantrip, they can pick any kind of necromancy spell instead. Additionally, they gain the Chill Touch cantrip as a bonus cantrip. So yeah, we're looking at a necromancy bard today, and I think it was really cool. My only complaint with this ability is the fact that they give you Chill Touch as a bonus cantrip. There are only 3 necromancy cantrips in the game, between Chill Touch, Spare the Dying, and Toll the Dead. You're just kind of giving away a third of them here for free. Personally, I don't think I'd give them the bonus cantrip and just make them pick that when they get their next cantrip upgrade. Otherwise, great ability. I think it's cool. Haunting Voice. It's another level 3 ability. As an action, you can roll your inspiration die and force a creature within 30 feet of you to make a wisdom saving throw against your bard spell save DC. And on a failed save, that creature is frightened of you for a number of rounds equal to the result of your inspiration roll. On a successful save, that creature can't be targeted by this feature again. And I believe the last sentence I hear is worded a little bit weird, but basically whenever they take damage or at the end of their turn, they can repeat their saving throw to end the effect early. I think this is pretty cool. It's concentrationless crowd control, which I always think is kind of neat. There's not enough of it in this game, in my opinion, at least for the player characters. I think this is a cool way to use your bardic inspiration, and normally while I like bonus actions because it means you can do more in a turn, honestly I think bards have enough, and I think having an action as a way to expend your bardic inspiration can really help your action economy. I think this one's really cool. Level 6, Stir the Departed Soul. You learn Animate Dead, if you don't already know it, and whenever you cast it, you can target an additional corpse or pile of bones and create an additional skeleton or zombie as applicable. Additionally, when you cast a spell that creates undead, such as Animate Dead or Create Undead, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to have all the undead created by that spell gain one of the following benefits. They either get your Bard level as a bonus to their maximum HP, your Proficiency bonus as a bonus to their weapon damage rolls, or they gain the ability that you can heal them, and they count as willing creature for the effects of your bard spells and class features. And then when you use this feature at 14th level or higher, you get to choose a second benefit. The part about this one I really like is all those 3 different choices you get to make if you expend a use of your bardic inspiration. The part about this I don't like is the fact that they give you Animate Dead. I mean, let's be honest, you're playing the College of the Dirge. You're gonna pick Animate Dead when you hit level 5, or at least you want to, but then it's gonna feel really bad when you get this ability, and now all of a sudden, you just missed out on getting a free spell for basically. Personally, I just wouldn't give them the free spell. I don't think bards are hurting for them that bad. And again, pretty much everybody that takes a subclass is going to want to pick Animate Dead, or else they'd have picked a different subclass. Anyway, I think the rest of this ability is super cool. And at 14th level, you get Rule the Still Heart. As an action, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to target 1 undead creature within 30 feet of you that can hear your voice. The creature must make a Charisma save versus your Bard's spell save DC, and on a failed save, that creature must obey your commands for 24 hours or until you use this feature again. On a successful save, this feature has no effects. Undead creatures whose CR equal or exceed your Bard level are immune to this feature. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you complete a short or long rest. I like parts of this ability, and I don't like other parts. I like the ability to just kind of command them. I think that's kind of cool. However, it is very save or suck, and it really limits what kind of CR your DM can throw at you. Basically, is it higher CR than the Bard's level? Then cool, it's basically immune to this ability. Is it lower? Then the Bard can save or suck your boss. Personally, the way I did a similar ability for the Death Knight class was I gave the monster advantage on the saving throw if it had turn resistance. Also, I definitely think this thing needs a clause saying that if any of your allies hit it, it takes the damage, or else, again, if they fail, they can just kind of club the guy to death while you tell them to stand there. The turn resistance, that's a maybe, but it definitely needs that last clause to give it some kind of a back-out strategy so that this isn't just a save or die style ability. But yeah, that's all for the College of the Dirge. Now we're going to move on to the Ghost Race. Ready, and go! So the first thing is actually hidden up there in what I thought was originally flavor text, but it's actually an ability. You originate from some race. You know common and 1 race language that they would know, and are proficient in any tools, armors, or weapons that would be available if you were still alive. I think that's cool, but I do think that you should have that down in the rest of the abilities, because I almost missed that on my first read. For the ability score, you get +1 to Constitution and +2 to either Wisdom or Charisma. That's kind of cool, but I do think it's going to come up with a problem when I get to the last ability. Dark Vision. It's Dark Vision. What else do I need to say? Deathly Sentience. You're humanoid. Okay, good, because otherwise this was going to get complicated. If you were an undead type, that would make you immune to a number of abilities, and, well, quite frankly, we don't want to get into that. Dead Immortality, you don't age. Makes sense. Pretty neat. Undead nature, you don't eat, drink, sleep, or breathe, and you can finish a short rest in 4 hours, very similar to the Warforged ability, or the Elven ability to trance. It says they remain aware of your surroundings and notice approaching enemies and other events as normal. Again, that's how Warforged works, so I think that one's pretty cool. Bloodless, you're immune to poison damage and the poisoned condition. Bloodless seems a little bit strong comparing it to the Warforged ability that's very similar. Warforged are just resistant to poisoned and poison damage rather than straight up immune, and personally that's where I would go with the same one. Ghostly Flight, the thing I was the most afraid of, but actually not too bad. You don't have a base walk speed, instead you have a hover speed equal to your previous race's walk speed. You can't hover higher than 5 feet, though you can make it across gaps or ledges if you have enough movement to get to the other side. So basically what I'm imagining is if there's a 10-foot far gap in front of you, you can just float on across it as long as you have more than 10 feet of movement. Though, assuming if you don't, you fall. I think that's actually a really interesting way to do a hover. That's probably my favorite part about this race, to be honest. Very unique, very interesting, big fan. Ethereal Form, another ability that I was pretty darn worried about. Still a little worried about it. As an action, you and the equipment you are carrying become incorporeal and can move through objects and creatures as though they were difficult terrain. Ending your turn in a space occupied by an object or creature causes you to be pushed to the nearest unoccupied space and take a d10 of force damage. You can't interact with objects while in this form and must spend a bonus action to be corporeal once more. This ability is pretty neat. I think there's a lot of ways you could have done it worse, but I do think there's a few things you could do a little bit better. Personally, I'd say at the end of your turn you become corporeal rather than having to use a bonus action to do it again. The idea of you being incorporeal on the enemy's turn makes you kind of immune to damage, I think. I don't know if there's any specified rules for that, and quite frankly, I don't want to find out. So I'd probably just make it so you become corporeal at the end of your turn. The ability to walk through small walls and other stuff like that, I think, is plenty strong enough for a racial ability. Lastly, Withering Touch. You know the Chill Touch cantrip. Not gonna lie, I feel like he left it that short and sweet because he didn't want to have to deal with the picture here of the ghost. Very nice picture, by the way. My problem with this is it doesn't say what your spellcasting ability modifier is for it. Normally, you would assume whatever racial stat just got increased, but like I was mentioning earlier, you can either do Wisdom or Charisma. So I don't know how you would do that. I guess you can try to put in some kind of verbiage like your spellcasting modifiers, whichever stat was increased by that, but then with the alternate rules from Tasha's, it's confusing and weird, and I don't want to get into it, but cool concept, but I don't want to think about the rules of how you're going to try to do that one. I think there's a reason that every other race that gets some kind of spellcasting has very set specific racial stats. Overall, both this subclass and race are very neat, and with a few small modifications, I think any DM would be happy to let these into your game. Well done again to Gnomezilla! Thank you for making the homebrew, it's been a joy to review, and thank you all for watching, and you have a nice day. Bye-bye.